So hello, I'm Paul Rowe. I'm a musician. And I've been involved in music all my life, performing, teaching, mentoring, and coaching. And I really love it. It's a great life. However, what I'm here to talk about today is collaboration. But first of all, I must make a confession. This talk on collaboration is not all my own work. The process of preparing the talk was collaborative. My wife, Patricia, helped me with some of the ideas and also how to make it more like a talk and not a lecture. So, did you recognize the two tunes I played? So what were they? Summertime and I Got Rhythm. And who wrote these tunes? George Gershwin. Okay, George Gershwin wrote the music and Ira Gershwin wrote the words. Now, in fairness, Ira Gershwin did not write the words of Summertime. It was indeed Dubois Hayward. But Ira has also been credited. Nonetheless, George and Ira have written more than 700 songs together and lots of shows that have defined an age and transformed musical theatre. So if ever there was a good example of collaboration, this is it. Indeed, such was the devastation that Ira felt when his younger brother died, he didn't write again himself for approximately 3 years. Here is a picture, I have my clicker here. Here is a picture of George, Ira, and Fred obviously enjoying working together at the piano. So what is collaboration? Collaboration is the sharing of ideas in a non-hierarchical way. It encourages a sense of community and taps into our collective conscience. When we share ideas, we engage in a social process that is immediately life-affirming and uplifting. We place our trust in others and in ourselves, with our collective abilities to meet whatever challenges we face. However, collaboration is not just about increasing positivity. It is, in fact, a more productive way of being together. We inspire each other to be imaginative and creative. Ideas are refined and developed, and new stories emerge. When we encourage each other to brainstorm, new possibilities arise. Intriguingly, neuroscience suggests that when we are with others, our brains are linked together through what are called mirror neurons. Human beings understand each other not just through our thoughts, but also through our body language and our feelings. We tend to mirror each other's responses by our unique ability to empathize. When we see each other smile and being happy, we can also share in this joy. The latest brain research indicates that these mirror neurons assist in our ability to work more productively together than alone. Collaboration is a social process that thrives in a non-judgmental environment. The permission to make mistakes, improvise, and be naive gives us the freedom to explore outlandish ideas that can later be refined. Ideally, there is no feeling of right and wrong, just potential and opportunity. The atmosphere is open and inclusive, and we do not stifle or edit our imaginations. So, what happens when we collaborate? So when we collaborate, as a musician, in fact, in all aspects of my life, I've been fortunate to have had some wonderfully productive collaborations. These collaborative processes have inspired me and have challenged me to move outside my comfort zone. I have also developed my creativity and learned so much about myself. 10 years ago, when I decided to do a PhD, I chose to research collaboration between myself as a performer and 5 composers. I asked the composers to work with me whilst we explore what happens when people choose to work closely together rather than in their separate specialist spaces. It was a fascinating and memorable journey. The 5 composers, naturally enough, were very different people, and so each collaboration had its own distinct flavour. They all brought out a different aspect in me. For example, when I was working with Ed Bennett, a composer from Bangor, County Down, I was struck by his abundance of ideas and found myself responding both creatively and imaginatively. From this work together, we generated a new range of musical material, which resulted in a piece called Monster, and I've performed this piece many times in Ireland, in Europe, and also in the USA. Some collaborations can deepen over many years, and again, I've been very fortunate in this regard, working with the composer Jane O'Leary. Jane is director of the Contemporary Music Ensemble Concord, which I am a member of since 1990. Through this ongoing collaboration, we have inspired each other and deepened our own individual arts practice. It has helped create a deeper understanding of our mutual artistic vision. Every day we have the opportunity to engage in collaboration. So we engage in collaborative relationships on a daily basis. For example, couples planning a holiday together or a night out, teacher and learning interactions, and also workplace meetings. However, it's quite possible that through our own lack of understanding, we are not reaping the benefits of these connections. Through greater awareness, we can move from basic communication to more meaningful collaborative relationships. Every day we communicate with the people around us, we coordinate our efforts, we cooperate on some matters, and if we take the time and make the effort, we can even collaborate. This involves a greater sense of mutuality and shared interest. To collaborate requires us to be present and mindful. At the highest level, collaboration is predominantly a right brain activity where intuition, empathy, creativity, and joyfulness flourish. As Daniel Pink in his wonderful book, A Whole New Mind outlines, and I quote, "Today, the defining skills of the previous era, the left brain capabilities that powered the information age, are necessary, but no longer sufficient. The right brain qualities of inventiveness, empathy, joyfulness, and meaning increasingly will determine who flourishes and who flounders. For individual families and organizations, professional success and personal fulfillment now require a whole new mind." And I would add to that, this mind needs to be a collaborative mind to get the best out of our increasingly interconnected world. This brings to mind a recent example of collaboration I've had at a distance. I performed a new piece by a young Irish composer who's finishing a PhD at Princeton University in the United States. Despite our geographic distance, we were still able to collaborate effectively through the internet using Skype. It is wonderful to think that I could sit in my office in Dublin and play some of the composer's ideas back to him on the other side of the Atlantic. He had sent me some sketches of musical ideas, and I was able to talk to him, play the sketches, and suggest other musical options. And through this engagement, the new work was developed. We had a number of short sessions on Skype prior to performing the new work at the National Concert Hall in Dublin in March. The first time we met face-to-face was on the day of the concert. So, how can we do this better, this collaboration? Arguably, listening is the most important aspect of collaboration. We are so primed to give our opinions that we have a tendency not to listen carefully, as we are too busy thinking about what it is we want to say ourselves when we get our chance. Active listening is the art of listening with full awareness and attention to both what's being said and also to how it's being said. We can also learn so much from non-verbal communication. People who are good at collaboration are highly attuned to body language and nuances. Questions tend to be more important than answers, as this represents an invitation to think creatively. Questions lead to more refined questions, which helps develop ideas. Sometimes we don't get answers to these questions, which can create ambiguity, but uncertainty is often the spark to new potential. Of course, we can find ourselves outside of our comfort zone. However, this is the place where growth, learning, and development occurs. It is important to be flexible in our attitude and open to others' ideas, no matter how fanciful they may seem. There needs to be a feeling of working together to a common purpose. Active participation in our body language and how present we are keys to success. Zoning out, of course, can diminish energy of the other participants. It can inhibit the flow of ideas and indeed encourage disinterest. To collaborate well, don't take yourself too seriously, as the ability to be light can be a precursor to thoughtful action. I really like the way Italian writer Italo Calvino explains the concept of lightness in an essay he wrote. He says, "There is such a thing of lightness of thoughtfulness, just as we all know that there is a lightness of frivolity. In fact, thoughtful lightness can make frivolity seem dull and heavy." Speaking of being light, let me just finally tell you about a session I had with the composer Stephen Gardner early on in my research. I remember thinking to myself, how the hell am I going to write about what just happened? The session had been great fun and tremendously productive for us both. We chatted, drank cups of tea, smoked cigarettes while we worked on Stephen's new piece for bass clarinet. We did this informally by playing sketches, listening to jazz recordings, and having a general discussion. During the session, there was a real creative flow, and the vibe was electric and energized. I realized in a very practical way the significance of collaboration, but I also recognized the difficulty in writing about this social phenomenon. Similarly, talking about collaboration is fun, but it's far more fun to actually do it. So let me leave you with some tips for good collaborative practice. Listen more. So, as I said earlier, we are so primed to be thinking about what we're going to say when that person's finished talking. Try not doing that. Try just listen and observe what's going on. And then respond. Be flexible. Flexibility is critical. If you're already confirmed of your opinions and how things should be, you're going to make yourself a less collaborative partner. Ask questions. Questions are the window to imagination, to creativity. Be open to ambiguity. Ambiguity, uncertainty, again, is where we have the opportunity to create new scenarios. If we keep on doing what we keep on doing, we'll keep on getting the same results. Be prepared to move outside of your comfort zone. Very important to do that. Actually, it's very important to do it in our lives on a daily basis. This is where growth happens. Participate actively, and by that I mean be aware of your body language, the energy with which you're contributing to the session, and how you are listening. Listening is very important, as I said earlier. And don't take your own opinions too seriously. They're just opinions. That's it, just opinions. And they're quite likely to change, and all the better that they do change and develop and evolve. And finally, not knowing is a really good place to start. So often in our lives, we feel the necessity to be experts and to have all the answers and to say, I know this and I know that and I know the other. It takes a brave person to say, actually, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is here. Can you make a suggestion? Can we just think about this? So, good luck with your collaborations, and thank you for listening to me.